You cannot escape from death.
So I just got back from watching Superman, and that guy, James Gunn, cooked. I was a little bit worried, like at the start of it, seeing trailers, Green Lantern isn't acting like himself, but I think that character, fire. It's a different take on the character, but it's a fire take on the character. But what I think is the best part, gotta be Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, one, I didn't even know who the villain of the movie was going to be because once I decide to watch a movie, I'm like, I don't want to know anything else about it. No spoilers, no more trailers. Just give me the release date and I'll be there, right? So when I seen Lex Luthor in there, I'm like, oh, okay, they got Lex Luthor. He's the villain. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about Batman versus Superman and that Lex Luthor. And I'm like, all right. I wasn't like thinking that what they were going to do, but that was like the last live action look of Lex Luthor that I had in my mind. But I was giving the guy a chance. I was giving the whole movie a chance, all of the actors, all of the characters a chance. And as the time went on, he started to tap into like godlike power. His portrayal, fire. Just the way that I gotta look up that actor's name. The way that he was playing Lex Luthor and the way that his organization was structured, it's like the most realistic and accurate take on Lex Luthor ever. Usually you see him in like the mechanical suit and he's kind of like a one-man army, but they put like a spin on it this time. He is kind of in this control tower type thing, and he have all of these different goons and henchmen kind of like fighting for him, but he has a team of like engineers basically who he is like using. Like basically all he does is talk, but he talks and then his engineers, they act on it. Makes you believe like if Lex Luthor really existed, that's what he would do. But I'm getting too ahead of myself. Superman, the one who the movie is about, the one who is on the poster. First off, the poster is fire. I love what James Gunn did with the blues and the reds and putting all those colors together. Just from a stylized standpoint, this trailer and the movie had so much style. This is something that Marvel, and I know there's going to be a lot of people comparing this movie to Marvel. This is something that Marvel lacks. This movie feels like a prime Marvel, but somehow even greater. Yes, there's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of quips being made, but they let the serious moments be serious moments. They let the characters really dig deep and really give powerful performances. Superman, for people who don't really know too much about comics, they think of him as like a kind of like a bland character. Like he's just generic. He's just, a boring character. But that's kind of supposed to be what he is. He doesn't really act on anger or vengeance or, you know what I mean? He's just like a stand-up guy. He's nonchalant, right? But they were able to put him in a position to where you really feel for him. You really feel like he is being like betrayed, robbed. Like they have all of these revelations about his parents. That's something I didn't even know. I got to go back and see if that is comic book accurate. How his parents sent him to Earth to conquer it. Half of the message was encrypted, or it was basically ruined because the ship took damage and blah 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 blah. But I didn't know, and I still don't know if that's the real reason he is sent, like the comic book reason. If that is, bro, that's crazy, because then it also makes it even crazier, like how he becomes like the symbol of hope and justice and just what he represents for humanity. Do you know one character that was really cool too? Mr. Techno. I once again did not know he was in this film. I kind of probably like saw him but then ignored him. Green Lantern and Superman was kind of the stars of the trailer, but seeing his portrayal and seeing how cool he was, they gave him this his whole fight scene basically where he can just show off his gadgets, his tech. You know what he kind of fights like? He kind of fights like that one guy from Invincible where they have the drones and the drones kind of like see everything, but also they kind of like fight too. And that was reminding me so much of Invincible. And I wonder if James Gunn was inspired by that or if these ideas kind of just happened at the same time, because sometimes that's how it is. But one, I love the design. Of course, everyone thinks about when we're watching superhero movies is how good is the designs, how good is the outfits. This is the reason why Green Lantern originally got a lot of hate, is because he wasn't rocking the traditional Green Lantern attire. And then also we've seen that part of him, swipe and everything. He's not a traditional Green Lantern. He doesn't shoot stuff directly from the ring. He kind of that could just summon things, disconnected from the ring. He's not dressed like, Green Lantern. Mr. Techno is kind of similar. Well, his outfits has changed a lot through many different variations, so he is kind of the most accurate. They definitely nailed like the little black T thing that he has on his face is fire. I think that whole group of characters, the Justice Gang, is so fire. Those characters have such rich lore, and they're not just some side characters. They feel like a nice addition to the story as a whole, and just seeing how all of these characters were made so unique and how they all have their own different twists. Of course, we got to talk about the GOAT, Batman. I wonder, he wasn't in the film, but I wonder with this new take on just the DC films, and I know this movie is going to be super successful, I just wonder what the take on Batman will be and how they will incorporate that character. But once again, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. The plot of the movie. I will watch the movie again to just really understand the plot on a deeper level, because that second time, third time you watch a movie, you could really start seeing the flaws here and there. But I don't think this movie is going to have any. From what I can tell, bro, they were really doing a good job like with telling the narrative and also allowing you to keep pace. It wasn't some like ridiculous MacGuffin. It wasn't some ridiculous plot. It was like characters really hating and loving, and that is what drove the plot. Characters' emotion, instead of like, oh, we gotta stop this thing and he's gonna get to that. Surprisingly, there was no MacGuffin. To give you kind of a summary of the plot, Superman intervened in a war that was about to start, and then Lex Luthor basically funded that war so he can take one country was going to invade another country, and Lex Luthor was going to take over the invading country and basically start to rule as a king. But when Superman intervened, he had to think of a way to get Superman out of the picture. That's the setup to the plot. But what the plot is actually about, Lex Luthor reveals this at the very end. My jaw dropped. Lex Luthor said, I'm not attacking you because you intervened in my war. I set up that war to have a reason to attack you. That's crazy. It really digs deep into that hatred that Lex Luthor is supposed to have. Because yes, he's always portrayed as a character who hates Superman, but this time around, they show it on full force. You know what the thing about this too? It throws you right into the fray. There is no origin stories. There is no how these characters came to be. It shows you every character basically at the height of their day. Superman, he's like world known. Lex Luthor has a $1 billion corporation. The Justice Gang is also world known. And they just push these characters together. I love that. Yes, I would love to see how these characters rose to power and this and that, but I feel like so many times we had a bunch of stories like that where it focuses on the origin and then we don't get to see what happens next. This type of movie is like an Avengers level movie, and when you go through all the routes of doing origins, this type of movie will be pushed off like 6 years away, and it's much better to do this. Boom, big blockbuster that sets the stage to just really wow everyone. This movie's fire. Every character was so great, from Lois Lane to Superman, even Superman's parents, bro. That portrayal was so awesome because it was like the human element, the wisdom, the kindness, the humanity. I want to change subjects and talk about the political undertone. I seen on Twitter a lot of politicians from around the world, well, mostly in America, were talking trash about this film. Some hate it, some love it. Some people were shocked to know that Superman is an alien and he's not American. Yes, he was a baby that landed in Kansas and he was raised. Of course, he keeps his identity a secret, but it seems like it was so much of a secret to where real life politicians didn't know. And with immigration being such a big topic that everyone's talking about, this movie, I think intentionally, unintentionally, I don't know, hits on those beats, and this is where the politics get stirred in. But really, I could care less about all of that. I think all of that drama, all of that nonsense that's happening is going to make more people want to go watch the movie. And when they see how awesome the movie is, when they see how amazing this portrayal is, it's going to be more successful. This is the first time ever that DC has the ability to rival Marvel. Marvel is at the lowest that they possibly are, and the only thing they have coming up that anyone is interested in is kind of Fantastic Four, but there's already some rumors that that movie is going to be terrible or not as good. But then also you have the Doctor Doom thing coming later. But other than that, we really don't know what Marvel's going to do. DC, to have this powerful of a start and have this many awesome characters, people are going to be willing to show up and watch anything. This is literally the beginning of something amazing.